It's interesting. Every artist that I know seems to have their own flow of how they do things, right?
Yes.
Francis Livingston can paint and do anything he wants as he does it. You know, he can have a conversation with me and be working on his painting. Dennis Szymanski can't have any music or anything. He has to be kind of,
Wow.
yeah, or certain types of things he has to. I think he can have music. I think he can't talk to people. That's what it is. He can talk. He can listen to music, but he can't talk to you and me and also work. So,
Well, I have both. It's a stage. When I'm first putting together the composition
yes.
and first working out the character or the personality, I really need to be on my own. Now I can listen to music,
Right.
but uh, then it gets to the point where I'm doing like the part I'm working on now with
Right.
him, the hair, and I actually like having distractions because then it's like it's more intuitive what I do with the
Right. It's
hair and
literally
the
coming from somewhere else.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I get it.
truly. So anyway, and the interesting thing about starting, like I'm always a little bit like awkward at first, but all it takes is for me to say, "Oh, that's wrong," and then I'm into it. You know, it's
Okay.
like, okay, I got to go fix that. You know, so it's Michelangelo said it was a matter of removing all the things that are not supposed to be there, and for
Right.
me, it's like what draws me in and keeps me going and makes it so that I can be pretty intense about it is I get into correcting. You know.
Mm. You're looking for the imperfections.
Yes.
And do you find it hard to know when to stop sometimes?
Yeah.
I would think because there's always imperfections you could find, right?
Yes, and it's better to leave some.
Yeah.
And Alan Hauser was a really good one for that. Um, we were talking about that issue, but one of the things he said is don't ever let your sculpture leave your studio too soon.
Mm.
You know, you want to keep it around long enough to be sure
You're happy.
you've got that right balance.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
And just so do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I try.
So
I
something
try.
like this piece, you know, how long has this been in the studio working on it?
This particular one has only been a couple of, well, no, only about a month.
Yeah.
But there will be pieces that I'll have a year
Yeah, I bet.
sometimes, you
Yeah.
know, and maybe longer.
Yeah.
Like these horses I've had a
Right.
while, trying to figure out exactly what is getting at what is going to make them special and unique, or you know, have something that has that spark.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That is exciting to me
and
too.
you can do approximately. I remember listening to our last podcast about 13 sculptures a year potentially.
That's what I used to do. I haven't looked to see it recently what I'm doing
Right.
now. But I remember it was maybe 15, 20 years ago, someone asked me, and I paid attention to that, and it looked like almost, and always, it was
Same,
13.
yeah. Yeah, because I'm
know?
sure you're very structured, very driven. I know you are. And so, I mean, it just wouldn't change, I would think.
It might have now. I mean, life is pretty different at this stage of
Life.
yeah, my age.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that happen that are different. So, but I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd have to sit down and
Well, you have one,
calculate
two,
it.
3, 4 major sculptures underway right now. All big, too, by the way.
Yeah, well, I was hoping this year to do a lot more larger pieces. Rabia titled it the Go Big Initiative.
Right.
But again, sometimes your reality
Yeah, it's
puts
bigger
those
than your
into
appetite.
Well, it's just what's happening in the foundries now is different than
Yeah.
anything I've ever experienced in my whole career. So,
And in what respect is that?
well, um, bronze, the actual cost of bronze with the tariffs and everything has it's been more than tripled. It tripled a few years ago. Now it's even more. Copper is shot up. Tariffs are really high on it, and bronze is an alloy, so it's a combination
Right.
of copper and other things. So that follows, and you wouldn't think that would be such a big thing, but when you're talking about large pieces, it does become a big thing.
Right.
Plus, all the costs of labor, of everything involved in the foundry process has escalated.
Mm.
So as a result, a lot of foundries have gone out of business.
They're going out of business right
yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah. Santa Fe used to have 5 major foundries when I moved here
Right.
back in the 80s and 90s, and we're down to none. We have
0.
no foundry in Santa Fe. I work with a sculpture service that does everything but the casting.
Mm-hmm.
That casting foundry is up in Loveland, Colorado. Loveland, Colorado has been hit too, and
I bet.
Loveland is a big sculpture
Right.
place. They kind of got on the map because of the
Yeah,
sculpture.
that's right.
And now their foundries are closing.
They're closing.
Yeah, it's
So is it going to put sculptors out of business?
I can't imagine that that would happen. It just seems like they're going to continue to be.
Or just going to make it
It just makes
very,
it so
very
expensive.
expensive.
Is a big part of the problem. It's just taking it. Well, it's just making it very expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure every time you
So-
have to recast, so you have one that maybe has been around for a year or whatever, that's going to be cost X, and now it's at 3 cost X?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not at 3 cost X exactly with every piece. It depends on
Yeah, what the size
so
and
much
all-
stuff.
Yeah.
So much stuff.
And so
And
they're,
the complexity.
so they're
and
probably
the-
changing constantly when they'll call you and say, it's going to be this. Maybe last week it wasn't even this.
Well, that was something we struggled with this spring.
I
Is
bet.
how do we put prices on our website?
Yeah,
You know, because it's likely going to change.
right.
And no sooner did we come up with price structures than it did change. You know,
Yeah.
the tariffs went up again.
Yeah.
So it's challenging. It's challenging. So, you know, but the thing about doing, well, it's like you're writing. It doesn't matter how difficult or expensive it's going to be. You're not going to stop writing.
No, it's true. No, and those
just
costs have
aren't.
gone up too for books.
I bet.
Yeah, no, they definitely have. It's
Look
like,
how
okay.
it's changed just in
Yeah.
the publishing world.
And you can't really raise your price structure, unfortunately, with books too much, because people go, I'm not going to pay that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Well,
you either have
Larry Murtry, because my ex was an author, I had the pleasure of meeting Larry McMurtry once, and he said a similar thing. He said, I never make any money on the books.
Yeah.
The only money I ever make is if it's made into a movie.
Yeah, it's
And he
made
had
into-
quite a few made
he had a
into
lot
movies.
made into movies.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you had a bookstore too,
Yeah.
which I don't know if he made money at that either.
Well, yeah.
So
who knows?
I think he did it out of, yeah, I think he may have done it more out of,
Just the love of it.
yeah, I had
Probably.
had opportunity to have dinner with him once, and it was the same kind of a thing that,
Oh, about what time was that, I wonder?
it was
'Cause-
not long after he had come out with his Brokeback Mountain, after it had done so well.
Okay.
But I got the impression that, you know, he loved the books as a bookstore, and just he loved books, right? He's a writer.
Right.
But I don't know
Right.
if it was ever a real a money thing either.
Hard to imagine that it would have been.
Two hard things:
But,
be a book
yeah.
owner and a book writer. You know, those are right up there with being a sculptor.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's true. As a sculptor,
Right.
I think it's the hardest of the fine arts to do, because first it's just expensive, time consuming. You know, a painter can generally do a lot more paintings in a time that you can do one. You know, they can't. You know, you're going to do 10 a year, and a painter can't do that. You have to do a
No,
lot
but
more.
we do have additions, and that
You do
makes
have additions.
But it's also it's kind of I've often thought I'm such a film buff that I've often thought I wish I could have gotten into the film industry early on. But on the other hand, there are similarities that are problematic with being a director,
Oh, it's the
just
toughest.
like being a sculptor, because it takes a village.
Yeah, that's the
You
worst
know,
one.
to cast a piece,
Yeah,
it takes a lot of different hands,
yeah,
artisans that work towards
yeah.
getting it accomplished.
And maybe they can do one every 10 years or whatever it is. It just depends on the director. Some are, but
Right.
I mean, it's really
Right.
that's
That's
that's the
tough.
hardest of the hardest. You know,
Yeah.
that and I think writing is because it takes 6 years to do a book or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but
That was about like Rod. It was about every 6 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Mhm.
that's kind of what it is. It's a
Mhm.
different,
Yeah.
lonely.
Are you working on one now?
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
3 going actually.
And are they different than what you've done before?
It's
or
a
is it
different
along the
character.
same-
So,
different character?
I
Okay.
did one called Weston Blackwood. It's a new series. So I started that last year, and so there's 3 others in this series that I basically have completed. Just I'm in the editing part, and one of them will be out in probably November.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so it's
Great.
fun. It's like when you pivoted to do rock art, or you pivoted to do, Native American, whatever that is. There is a freeing of having a new subject to, and in my case, I like this person because he's kind of flawed. So it's a lot easier, I think, to relate maybe even to a flawed character than it is somebody who's,
Absolutely.
gets it right all the time, or at least it seems like he does.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, we have our heroes that we like, but even
yeah.
heroes, we kind of like to see the flaws a little bit.
Yeah, we do.
Anyway,
Because they're human, right?
Yeah, because they've
Yeah.
got to be human. But don't you find that one of the things about changing, uh, diverting a little bit here or there, it's what keeps it so
Fresh.
interesting, because
Yes.
you have to be
Completely.
challenged to
Completely,
be
100%.
find more creativity and to
Yeah.
be creative.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, especially when you're doing a series too, and you're like, I kind of told this story. I kind of know how many,
Yeah.
how many bad things are going to happen to this guy every 6 months. So to have just a different way to think about it, yes, I've found it to be much more freeing and creative for me.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm the same way. When something comes up,
Right.
and I could have a plan going in my head I've learned that it needs to remain very flexible,
yeah, fluid, yeah.
because if something grabs my attention and I want to, it's like, oh, and I feel that spark of energy and
Right.
interest, I want to follow it.
Yep.
I'm going to go with it.
Yep,
And maybe that's what happened with your books.
completely.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I think it's for most
Cool.
writers too, actually.
Yeah.
I think they get that moment, and they go, that's the thing. You ask, Larry Peterson writes these wonderful historical books, and, the worst thing you can ask somebody like that's what's your next project, because you don't know often. It has to hit you just like it does with the sculpture, right?
Just like falling in love.
Yeah, it is
You
kind of like,
know?
it is actually.
It is in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. I've felt that to be true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. It's getting that incredible energy
Yeah,
behind your expression that happens only when you're in that heightened state.
right. The dopamine
Right.
rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I get it.
Right.
So in this sculpture you were working on, does it have a title yet? Do you come up with titles when you make the sculpture,
Well,
or until it kind of comes to life for you?
Yeah, sometimes try to find a title from the initial idea.
Yes.
I'll start thinking about it.
Uh-huh.
And it's great if a title does come to me right off the bat, because it helps kind of direct my
Right.
in how I'm putting
I would
the
think
piece
that's
together.
very true.
But it doesn't always.
Yeah.
And sometimes, for instance, there was an owl piece that I did that is a life-size great horned owl.
Yeah.
So they're big, and
They
they're
are very big.
imposing birds, and I did it because there was one that was hanging out
Right.
around, and I ran across when I was riding quite a bit, and I kind of felt like,
It's calling
I
you.
think it's,
Right?
I think I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I did. And when I first had the idea, and when I sculpted it in clay, there was just something about his personality that said to me, I'm the boss, you know.
Yeah.
So I titled it Boss.
Right.
And I thought that was going to be it. And that's kind of what I worked towards as I sculpted it.
Right.
But when it came out and I got it in bronze, something happened. There was a different feeling, and this doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while it does. And in this case, comes to mind because I changed the title because of it. It didn't fit anymore.
Yeah,
There
I
was
get that.
something about how his expression changed in the process of transforming from clay to bronze.
Yep.
That it became wisdom keeper
Yeah.
instead of boss.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell you why I felt so strongly about it, but I did.
Yeah. No.
And I just had to change it.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
so,
you have to do that. The characters in a book will change. You think they're going to be a bad person, right? And then 2/3 through, or maybe even further, you go, oh no, this person actually has merit. There's something about this, you know. So boss it didn't fit, and you could see
didn't
it
fit.
once it was in a real
Yep.
three-dimensional bronze form. It just wasn't the right description. I've dealt with this
Right.
in my last book, the book that I just finished.
Ah.
Same kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I changed the title 3/4 in, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. So that's something you
Yeah,
get
I think,
very
yeah.
clearly.
No, I totally get it.
Yeah, and
100%.
I think that happens, one of the reasons McMurtry is one of my favorite authors, and Diana Gabaldon, I think she does the
Yeah.
same thing,
Yeah.
is she starts with, she may introduce a character, and he did, that may come across as being this real evil,
Right,
you know, or very bad person,
right.
and yet it winds up moving to this grayer place
Yeah.
in terms of,
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah,
and
that's my
I think
favorite.
that's so much more of my experience with life
Yeah.
than, you know, black and white.
Right, yeah, and that's
Not
great.
black and white.
Yeah, it goes from the boss to the wisdom keeper.
Yeah.
Two complete, utter connotations that are completely different,
Right.
you know?
Right. Very different. And that direction thing, well, I guess being in the studio is one thing that is a great time to talk about that. But the horse pieces that I have over here that are
Yeah.
now
Yeah, let's look at these.
tattooed pieces.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is really different.
this is a real
Complete
redirection.
different. Right, yeah, that's what
I had no clue I was going to go in
Yeah.
that direction at all. And yet when it started, it's like, it seems perfectly right and natural. And I'm painting the clay, which obviously can't go through the casting process because it's only a way of me getting a sense of
Visualization,
how
right?
it's going to feel.
Yeah.
And also practicing painting. I mean, I'm not a painter.
Right.
And I've never used oils before.
Oh, yeah.
But it occurred to me that I needed to use oils in order for it to be received well on the clay.
Yes.
Because it's oil-based clay.
Right.
Right? I love oils. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
doesn't surprise
believe
me.
how much fun
Yeah.
oils are compared to acrylics.
Right.
And it's just, I could really see myself. So now I know why I was probably drawn to that, is because I think that that's an area that is going to be really fun for me and really push my
Creativity.
skills, creativity, gets me thinking a little sharper about creating something
Mm-hmm.
that is going to have some of the energy and feeling that I want it to have.
Mm.
It's entirely different medium.
Mm-hmm. Because there's
And-
two stories here, right? There's the horse story,
Yeah.
and then there's this dragon story.
But right.
And then there's a third
but-
when they come together.
Exactly, because the whole thing I learned in studying the tattoo art, as I
Right.
did years ago, and actually put on some pieces back then, was that people, and then suddenly in this country, tattoos became popular, right? But what I've noticed about people who put tattoos on is, who are really serious about it, is they want it to be an expression of who they are inside.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, so it's a way of showing to the world a part of themselves that they don't show in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can be very, very picky about what their tattoos are. And I respect that. With this was a horse that I did, that I had owned. This is a sculpture of Mariah, who was my amazing horse, that was an incredible athlete, everything. She was just unusual on every count, so smart, so athletic, sensitive, everything I wish I could have been in my life, or that I could aspire to.
Kind of are, though, right?
Yeah.
Because it's coming from you through her now.
And she was such an extension of me when I did sports with her that I really felt connected. So when the idea of, wow, maybe it would be fun to do a tattoo on the horse, on her, because she was this powerhouse and like a war horse inside.
Right.
But she was the kindest,
yeah,
most sensitive horse at the same time.
Yeah.
So she had this like dragon inside her. And what's more, I realized, because I looked into it, that mare was born in the year of the dragon. I was born in the year of the dragon. This is the year of the dragon.
So this was the time.
So it just seemed like doing that made a lot of sense. And also that she would, that could show what this nice little, well, she was a big horse, quarter horse, had this enormous ability to fight like a warrior, and which you do when you're playing polo cross. I mean, you're bashing into people, knocking them out of the way. They're bashing into you, and they're, you know, it's a very, very physical sport. And it's a kind of sport that they used to play to prepare for war, get the horses used to it as well as the riders. So I knew she had that in her. And so it just seemed to jive with my need to find something that was going to be different about this sculpture.
Yeah, resonated for sure.
And then what happened with that is I had that sculpture sitting on the side, deciding what to do with it.
Right.
It had been a commission piece that was a little different than what it is now, of a Frisian. It's not a Frisian anymore. It's a more of a gaited horse. But to me, this one wound up being a bit of the opposite. This one, it was a stallion. The commission was for a stallion. And I beefed up his maleness, let's say, and decided to do the rose, which is in contrast to, because
the flower inside all of this.
The reason I liked the Maori sculpture I did so much, that was the bust, called Once Warriors, was that his face with all the tattoos is extremely fierce.
Yeah.
And yet in his eyes and in his real expression, there's this kind,
empathy.
you know, so it's that contrast that I like. Only in this one, it would be the opposite of what this one is.
And
so it's the male.
So do you have titles for these yet?
This is Valor Rose and this is Dragon Lady, so far.
I really love, and maybe we can get a shot of it, but I love the fact that the dragon goes around to the abdomen. You know, it flows, right?
Yeah.
Because it has a complete, to me, this different sensibility of the piece.
Yeah, and that's what's fun about what I'm going to do with this. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do on the other side.
Yeah, I could see how you could.
But it's going to be, some complication that makes it a little bit of a different angle or feel to what this expresses.
I would think this is what drives you to have to create, right? I mean, this is like a complete and utter different thing than you've ever done.
Right.
It's like you're working with oils, you haven't. You're working in I've never seen anybody doing anything like this. which is great. And then somehow you have to 2 and 3-dimensionally make this work, which you haven't done
Right.
before.
Now, I have seen an artist that does sculpture where she does like flowers on horses that are kind of three-dimensional. But they're like flowers that grow up like this, and they're kind of.
But you can see your complete. I mean, your journey and your trajectory is clear. Starting with Maori, going to study Maori tattoos in what, 1992 or something?
94.
94, right? That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and having this fascination to what it means. And then that's not a big translation from this to rock art either. I mean, in my opinion, they're the same. And in a lot of ways, they're the same process, right?
Right. And it's meaningful is the point too for me. Like the little flower sculpted on, that to me, okay, it's kind of cute and sweet, but it's not meaningful in the same way tattoos are. So I actually wanted to take a style that was like most tattoos in this country were done in kind of a comic style, you know, a comic book style, very simple, outlined and all that, as opposed to like the Chinese, Japanese, Asians, they're much more finely detailed. And I wanted to stay away from that because so much of those have evolved into gang tattoos. And in this country and in the Maori culture, that was not what tattoos were for. They related a what that person's history was. Like in the Maori culture, a young person couldn't just go out and get a tattoo. That was not accepted. They had to, first of all, earn the images that they were going to put on their faces or bodies by accomplishing something in their lives. And they also had to incorporate what their family's accomplishments were. So it was a combination. It was a combination of their ancestry as well as who they had become as adults and accomplished in their lives. And so when the elders okayed a tattoo, they could go and have it done. But it was unlike any other tattoo culture in the world. They did a combination of inking and scarification. So they didn't just do the tattoo, they carved into the face. So it was really a commitment to what you were.
On many levels.
I can't even imagine how painful something like that would be. But they did it with no painkillers. Other than mental, you know, finding that Zen place to go to.
They have to.
But that's more of what I want to relate to, and that's why I wanted to be distinctly tattoos, not a question of where the history of the design is coming from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so I don't want it to be 3D. And I don't want it to be some of those other styles.
It's kind of what you would want if you were getting a tattoo, maybe.
I don't think so.
No?
Actually, first of all, I hate needles. You couldn't get near me with a tattoo needle.
But you find them. But you find tattoos fascinating.
I do find them fascinating, and I think the Asian tattoos are beautiful. They're gorgeous. And so finely done and so detailed.
Well, it's an art form.
It certainly is. And that's a very old art form. In this country, it's newer. And it's different. Like I said, it's more of that graphic, blocky, cartoonish. Some. I mean, of course, now it's gotten to be all across the board.
I mean, there's.
But the history.
And I think this generation looks at. I don't know. I can speak for the upcoming generation, but they look at it as a complete art form, and and they're expensive to get a good artist to do it.
And it's still painful.
And the pain's not going away.
Right.
But I mean, it's still a commitment, but in a different way, I guess.
And I think it's much more personal, without attachments to even tribe, and like with the Maoris, it's much more personal. And how it's evolved in this country.
That's completely different.
It's completely different. And that's more of what I'm
Shooting for.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And with this one, I've gone more to the history of the American tattoos.
Right.
With this one, I'm allowing it to be a little different.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about it being even more refined. That's only my first attempt. And I may go even looser and more, and at the same time, more refined.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more painterly or more finely detailed. I don't know.
And when will
but it's
something
exciting,
like these? Yeah, I can tell.
you know.
So does it take? So is this like in this time we're in August of 2025? Is this something that comes out 6 months from now, 8 months from now?
Well, I
Who
have
knows?
no idea.
Yeah.
With the foundries facing what they are now, it could be very different. You know, before.
Could be years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it could
Wow.
be. You know, just because working out what I want to do and then getting in
Yeah.
foundries, but I will always be painting the designs on
Yeah.
them. And I'll etch them in lightly when I decide on what I want for sure, but I will always hand paint each one of them in oils in any edition I do of them.
Have you ever-
And that's what I've done with
Yeah.
the illustrated man.
Have you ever done or thought about doing ceramics? In other words, where the finished piece becomes this, you know? And maybe,
Actually, I haven't, which that's a thought. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the first time that even came into my head was that you mentioned it.
yeah, because I could see that,
Yeah,
and you could actually get your pieces out, you know.
that's true.
And they would be.
And that might be a direction that's
Yeah.
better for me at this stage.
Yeah, because you're a potter. I mean, you.
Well, I
mean,
work with
you're-
clay, for
you're-
sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're a ceramicist.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do anything. I mean, you can do this. My God. So, you know, I could see that being, and you can paint, you know, ceramics or not. You can
Yeah,
do all that
that's
stuff.
right. The color is certainly
And you
a
can
big
charge
part
a lot
it.
of money.
Yeah.
You know, Emmer Copta did this. So I don't know if you know him, but he lived with the Hopis in the 20s, and
No.
he did ceramic heads of Hopi individuals that were important to him, and then he also made them into bronze.
Uh-huh.
And those ceramic heads are the most valuable because there's not, you know, one of one when he would do them. But I could see that in the same kind of thing. 'Cause,
Yeah, that's true.
know?
There are different challenges
Oh, yeah.
working with fired
Which you
clay.
would like, I have a feeling.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like, that would deter me necessarily. But you know, one of the things that I think it's like painting on canvas and doing ceramics is that I love, and I've always loved the fact that bronzes are so almost forever. I mean, short of a
Yeah.
nuclear meltdown,
No, it's true.
you can always save a bronze, you
Yeah.
know, and I love the fact that they are such a permanent medium,
Yeah.
even with all the cost it is to
Yeah.
get them there,
Yeah.
which is getting more and more considerable.
Yeah.
It's still, there's something about that, that permanence that I've always liked. But necessity could change that
Yeah.
attitude.
Or you still do both. You do the
Right.
ceramic part and you make it into a sculpture.
Right,
If,
yeah.
If
so who
money and
knows?
time will allow. Because, you know, time is like this, right? So, you know, if you end up waiting 2 or 3 years to be able to even get your thing done,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's why I moved out here, is because the East Coast foundries, what few they had, if you took a sculpture to them, they'd tell you at least a year,
Yeah, well,
you know. So I moved out here.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a changing world. And
Yeah, the
what
cycle
did
of your 50.
Darwin said,
Yeah,
it's not the fittest, it's the most adaptable.
yeah. And you have 50 years of watching this and doing it and celebrating it all at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah,
going through change.
Yeah, I have
different change.
no doubt you'll be able to
Yeah.
adapt, and you are. And,
So,
you know, you're still creating something completely and utterly different. I've never seen anything like this from you. And here we are, and, you know, 50 years and,
I know.
and now, right?
50 years
I
later.
know, it's hard to believe. Huh?
Yep.
Is there anything else we should see or you want to talk about while we're in here?
Gosh,
Or
I don't.
we kind of captured the.
Yeah, I think
essence.
those were the most important things
Yeah,
about,
those are great.
especially in terms of what the main thrust of it is, being
Yeah.
a 50-year retrospective.
Yeah.
It's kind of how things grow and expand and
Yeah, they
change.
do.
And,
Yeah, and you can see it
and
all.
how that's happened over the
Yeah.
50 years
Uh-huh.
for me.
So people come see this retrospective. It starts October 24th and it'll run through January 31st. And it's both in our Maynard-Dixon Native American Art Museum and in the Medicine Man Gallery. So we'll have two different shows at the same time. The one that is in the museum is kind of rock art oriented, I think, at this moment in time, where it's all, museum shows are always in fluidity. So,
Yeah.
and in this case, we also have to worry about foundries, because foundries are now problematic to some extent. And you have other shows that are going on right now, and people are selling your artwork, and
Yes.
if you can't get the pieces because they're sold, but
Yeah.
we'll have a great show, and I'm really thankful that you allowed us to come out and see your intimate studio and take the time to visit and to watch you sculpt.
Well, I'm very honored
Yeah.
and pleased that you were able to come and listen to my story.
Yeah, it's a very compelling story.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a journey that you've had since you were a little girl, and you followed through the whole time. No matter wherever it took you, you stayed on the path.
Yeah.
In that moment of, what you're true to, which is your
very
animals,
true.
one thing,
Well, yeah.
and as an artist.
A lot of my life was built around my horses.
Yeah, I can see.
And
Still
I'm
is.
and it still is, and my art.
Yeah.
And I just have been so grateful that I've been able to have both in my life.
Yeah.
Truly.
No, you work to get it though, but
I think they balance themselves out for me.
clearly you need to have both.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm sure
really
you do.
do.
That makes, there's things that you need those in life. I feel my writing, I have to have it to take me away
Sustain
from the
you.
other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It allows me to open the creative juices, and that's a really important thing. If you can do it, you deny yourself, that's never great.
No, I think those are the most unhappy people.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think so, especially when they really want to be that person and they don't allow themselves to create for other reasons. They justify that.
Because you always have that place in your body that feels like it's you're not getting what you
fulfilled,
need.
that's right.
Yeah, it's still hungry.
Yeah.
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 So,
Well,
so
you
we're
filled
lucky
yours
we can fill
nicely. All right. Thank you so much, Star. I appreciate it very much. And
My pleasure.
I can't
Thank
wait
you.
I want to get a shot of these
Thank you.
hands. See, this is the hands, these
Ooh,
hands.
yeah.
I know, but that's like Maria's hands,
They're
right?
scary.
It's the hands of thousands upon thousands of hours of
Yes.
creativity. Yeah,
Well,
right? I love hands. I think
definitely.
artists' hands are the most interesting thing.
Ah,
I do. I mean, look at any of them, O'Keeffe or Dixon or, any of them, and especially people that work in clay and bronze and things.
they have so much character
Yeah,
when
of
they've
course.
gone through all that,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yours are actually quite dainty considering that you work at them every day.
Yeah, that's
Hours
true.
upon hours. Your fingers are probably intensely strong,
I'd like to think so.
Yeah,
I can't be proud of them for their looks.
No.
but
Well,
I'm
you know what?
proud of them
But
for
you
their
actually
strength.
should be proud of them for their looks, because those were hard earned.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are.
No, you're like a fine-tuned athlete. So for sure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. All right. We'll get back to the construction roads.
Okay.
As I see a horse in the background.